Hey everyone, CVN Technology News here, and today I'm doing a rumor video on an iPad Pro. Now, after Apple unveiled the iPad Air last week, the tech world immediately began speculating on the possibility of an iPad Pro, much like Apple's Mac line where there's a MacBook Air and a MacBook Pro. Apple already offers the MacBook Air for mainstream laptop users and the MacBook Pro for those who want more power, so the birth of the iPad Air hints at a Pro-level counterpart aimed at people who use tablets as work machines. Given Apple's messaging around iPad productivity during last week's event, I can guess that Apple has at least thought a little bit about the idea. Now, one thing that people are already talking about is the idea of a keyboard that also serves as a tablet stand and screen cover. Many third-party vendors offer this already, but a tightly integrated keyboard from Apple would be even better. Consider how the existing iPad Smart Cover connects through magnets built into the tablet, and it's easy to imagine how a keyboard cover would shine. And it could work very similarly to Microsoft Surface tablets, which I think are really great in the way they implement keyboard covers. Now, Apple is rumored to have prototyped its own keyboard cover, and some tech watchers thought we'd see it at last week's event. But there was a good reason why it didn't happen. The problem with iPad keyboard covers is that even the full-size iPad isn't wide enough to accommodate a full-sized keyboard. Microsoft gave the Surface a different aspect ratio, so it's more than an inch wider than the iPad in landscape. That gave them the room to make a full-sized keyboard, but Apple doesn't have that luxury. Now, a wider iPad actually would make sense. Just as Apple stretched the iPhone 5 screen from 3.5 inches to 4 inches, a Pro-level iPad could get a wider aspect ratio while keeping the pixel density at the same 264 pixels per inch. How wide might this iPad go? Well, let's assume that Apple would add at least a sixth row of icons to its home screen, following the same pattern as the iPhone 5. Keeping the distance between icons in the same in portrait mode, the minimum size increase would be 322 pixels for the total resolution of 2370 by 1536. To maintain the Retina display, the screen size would measure 10.7 inches diagonally, exactly 1 inch longer than the iPad Air, and 8.98 inches lengthwise. With the bezel size remaining at 7/8 of an inch on either side of the screen, the entire tablet would measure 10.73 inches lengthwise, which is just enough room for a full-sized keyboard. Now, Apple isn't afraid of odd aspect ratios. The iPhone 5S, for instance, is 71:40, which is just a little bit off from 16:9, and widening the screen too much would make it feel a little bit awkward in portrait mode. Also, keeping the screen as small as possible makes touch interaction easier because you don't have to move your hands as much. Keyboards aside, those extra pixels could be useful though. Consider GarageBand. In the current version, you can expand the instrument panel in track view to show the volume slider and mute controls, but this takes away from how much of the timeline you can see. A wider iPad could show even more of the timeline even when the instrument panel is fully expanded. If this kind of iPad Pro existed, I would assume that it would include more processing power and RAM, in addition to obviously a Touch ID fingerprint sensor to make it more practical for business users. I'm interested in what a Pro-level iPad might look like and how it would fit in with the rest of Apple's lineup. A modest size increase to just under 11 inches would retain much of the comfort level and portability of the current iPad, while allowing for a full-size keyboard and new software features. And while I have no idea whether this was something that Apple will really build, I would be very interested in this product if Apple did decide to release it. Let me know what you think of the idea of an iPad Pro in the comments below. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!